you guys. I wanted to take a few minutes and bring you out into the barn at my house. And this is the workshop. This is where a lot of cool things happen at my house. It's a favorite pastime, especially of my sister's, but I enjoy it too. I thought this would be a good place to talk to you about nonfiction signposts. This is one of those two critical things I think you need to know when you get yourself ready for any kind of big testing, especially like the I-Step 10. So in this video, what I want to do is talk to you specifically about nonfiction signposts. We spent a lot of time doing this, but I just feel like this is a great tool for you to have in your tool belt. That's why I picked the workshop. So I want you to think of this formula: 2, 3, 6. 2 plus 3 plus 6 equals good reading comprehension. So let me help you with this. First of all, when you open up a text that's maybe in a test that you have to read, if you just skim through it and try to guess the answers, you're probably not going to do too well. So I know for a fact that this formula has helped a lot of people really improve their reading comprehension skills and help them pass the I-Step 10. All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about 2. The number 2 is important in this formula because it's recommended that you actually read the text 2 times. Once you read it pretty closely and pretty slowly, and the second time you read it a little bit faster, and you can actually skim through it some. All right, so 2 means read it twice. Then 3. When you read it the first time, you need to look for 3 big things. Some of you already know what this is, but let me review it. The 3 big things are, you want to try to identify, what is this author's purpose? What are they wanting me to know? Now, in nonfiction text, it's not really going to be too complicated. It might be informational. It might be persuasive. Or it might be purely entertainment, or to help just grow your awareness about something. So I'm in the workshop. Maybe the purpose is to write an article to teach you about woodsmithing. Who knows? So the second thing, when you're reading slowly the first time through, the first thing is purpose. The second thing that you want to look for is, what does this author assume that I already know? In other words, is he writing this article to a particular audience? Is he writing it just to woodworkers? Maybe he uses a word that I'm not real familiar with that has to do with a particular tool or something. If that's the case, maybe I don't completely understand everything in it, but maybe there are some things that that writer assumes I already know. So that's the three big things you have to learn, or you have to read for. The first thing is purpose. The second thing is, what does the author assume I already know? And then the third thing, as you're reading through that first time, is to ask yourself, what in this article makes me go, It's not really something that's necessarily life-changing, but it might be something that causes you to want to ask another question. If you could sit down with the author, maybe you'd want to ask him something like, hey, why is that hammer made out of wood anyway? If he happens to be writing about this hammer. Maybe it's not in the article, but it makes me want to ask. So when you read through the first time, you're looking for 3 big things. The purpose. What does the author assume I already know? And 3, what makes me go, It might be just a simple point of interest. So 2, read the article through twice. 3, watch for 3 big things when you read it through the first time. And then when you skim through it the second time, look for these 6 signposts. The 6 signposts are really going to help you no longer be a surface level reader, but be a reader that really reads deeply. That will allow you to pull the information out of the text that you need to know to be able to answer a critical response question. So let's think about it for a moment. What are those 6 signposts? One of them is to actually be sure to read the first and the last paragraph very, very closely. Because most authors will give you a thesis or a point in the first paragraph that helps you understand what the purpose and the direction of that article is going to be. The last paragraph is going to be a wrap-up. They're either going to tell you what their main points were, or they're going to give you a call to action, or they're going to give you some important information that's going to help you understand things better. So the first signpost is to make sure you've read closely the first and the last paragraphs. Another signpost to look for when you're skimming through the second time are statistics. Anything that's a number, maybe it's a year or a quantity or a percentage, but make note of that. And in fact, if your testing software allows you to use a highlighting tool, highlight those, because those might be something you can use later when you do your response in writing, or it might help you to answer a question the right way. The third signpost that you're looking for is to kind of keep your eye open for shocking statements. Maybe they say something that's kind of unbelievable, like, did you know that there are 60,000 woodworkers just in the state of Indiana? That's a big number. It kind of shocks me. I didn't know there were that many woodworkers here. So maybe it's something that kind of makes you just step back and realize, wow, that's a big number. The next thing, the next signpost that you want to look for, this is number 4, are different points of view. Maybe the author has written an article about woodworking, and he's telling you how awesome it is to use old and primitive tools like this one right here. And he said, you know, it's really nice when you're working with wood to be able to get your hands on the wood and hand hewn it so you can feel the wood and get kind of personal with it so you can really sculpt it the way that you want it. The fifth thing is to look for quotations. As you're reading the text, if there's anything in quotations, this is probably important too. An author's not going to just throw a quote in there for fun. They're going to have a purpose. So let's say they've quoted maybe Roy Underhill, who's one of the most amazing woodworkers in the whole country. And so you look at that and you think, wow, Mr. Underhill really made a great statement there. That might be important and something I want to put into my response when I write my response to this question or to their prompt. And then the last thing, the 6th signpost, is to look out for words you don't know. Let's say it's an article on woodworking and they tell you about something called a shave horse. And you think, a shave horse? Well, I've never seen a shave horse before. I don't even know what it is. But in fact, I'm sitting right here next to one now. It's this amazing long bench. And it's really pretty incredible. You sit on it, you put the wood inside, and you press your feet down on this bar, and it holds the wood in place so that I can use something like a drawbar to pull off the bark and to sculpt the wood. This is a shave horse, but if I didn't know anything about woodworking, that might be a term that I don't really understand. So I wanted to just take a little bit of time with you right here in the wood shop to help you understand a little bit about that special formula that could help you pass an I-Step 10, answer a question really great in one of your tests for one of your other classes, or do really well on another big test, like the SAT. So the formula is 2 plus 3 plus 6. Read it through 2 times. The first time, watch for the 3 big things. The second time you skim it, watch for up to 6 signposts. All right, you guys, you've got a great brain. I believe in you. So good luck.